Hello, and welcome to the second half of the Operation Zero Out Network. And this is the second half to our blueprint of Trickle-Up Economics, the core principle second half. We talked about the core principle first half on the last episode. This episode, we're going to get into that second half and what it's all about. Now, we spoke on the first half of the first core principle was about producing community energy projects. Now we want to expand just a little bit on that right now and give you an idea what we're talking about. As far as a community energy project, we were speaking in a sense that we're not looking for a plot of land and then we put up some solar panels and plug them into the grid and feed the energy back. That's part of it, but that's not the full program. What we were considering was turning the entire community into the community energy project, which means backyards, roofs, houses, front lawns, wherever we can put up a solar panel to suck in some energy and feed that back into the grid, which will then become part of our income program. And now, just wanted to touch on that real quick before we got into the second half of the core principle. Now, the second half of our core principle is a community farming project. Now that project is unique in itself as it does a multitude of different things. One is going to pull a lot of the toxic and foul air in the community out and replenish it with fresh oxygen so we have fresh air to breathe. It's also going to clean up the soil in the area by absorbing a lot of those, foul things and turning them into something that's actually useful in the community. And the third thing, and which is probably the most important, is that it's going to feed people so that nobody's hungry. You won't have to go in and say, oh, let me get enough food for the whole month when we'll be growing it on a regular basis. I only need enough food for the week, and I'm good because come next, I'll just go back and get more or get whatever I need. It's available to me 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days out the year. It's never cut off from anybody. It's always accessible. And that was part of the community employment program with a 24-hour shift. Like I said, everybody can put in 3 hours a week. Or 3 hours a day or hour a day. However you want to do it, it is totally up to you. And you just have to meet with the community management program, council or whatever, and they can help schedule it out, and we can work it all out. It's a simple process. So the community farming project is specifically designed, like I said, to produce food within the community. That is the major purpose of it. We will utilize like hydroponics, and we'll incorporate aquaponics too now, because we'll do a lot of this growing indoors. So it is not so much of a large scale area that will turn into this growing area, but we'll utilize, like I said, the entire community. So if you got some extra space in the back room, we can set up a hydroponic system. You can grow tomatoes. You say you got an extra space in your front room, or we can design growing shelves, containers, and put up shelving so you can grow, and we can actually do a whole wall and have a living wall in your home. Or if you got space in your backyard, we can grow back there. Space in your garage, we can grow in there. Turn your front lawn into a garden, and that way you don't have to keep coming out every couple of weeks and cut your lawn. We'll have community members who'll come by, take care of the farming situation on the lawn. Works great for everybody, right? So that's a wonderful thing, just something else, all part of this program that we're trying to put together. And this community farming program helps to expand the connections in the neighborhood. We can start growing medicinal herbs and medicine and things of that nature that will help feed the people. And, those herbs will help heal people. So we can reduce a lot of the costs associated with healthcare. See, that's another added benefit to growing naturally organic food that can be utilized for, good health and better living, along with being able to grow herbs and different kind of things and flowers and plants that actually have medicinal purpose. We can grow an entire medicinal pharmacopoeia of herbs and stuff like that to act as, our own community pharmacy and, help treat our people and add some of these things into, our food that we eat. Along with a community farming project, we'll have plenty of food where we can actually start supplying meals to the elderly, to our children, to make sure that they're eating healthy. We can have a community breakfast, a community lunch program, even a community dinner program, along with allowing the children to have like a community snack program where we'll, come in, help us, pick some of these fruits and vegetables and nuts. While you at it, put a couple in your pocket, nibble on some while you're helping out. And in that way, we make sure the kids get a good work ethic. They'll get to learn how to work a garden and grow and, create life. And at the same time, they'll actually have good eating habits, and they'll develop those eating habits that'll last them a lifetime instead of all of this processed chemical crap that we getting out of the corner stores now. We can even supply these fruits, vegetables, and nuts and grains and all of these medicinal herbs and organic herbs and spices and stuff to our local corner stores that can sell to us consumers. So, we got something better on the shelf to purchase instead of the garbage that these corporations is pumping out to us on a yearly basis. So that's just, some of the aspects that can be, utilized with a community farming project. Now, the employment side of this is that we're going to need people who are going to have to come and, help with, the farming techniques and procedures needed to grow a successful crop. And once again, with technology, it takes a lot of that physical labor out, and we'll let technology take over a lot of that physical labor, and we'll add the human element as to monitoring and, facilitation of these, technological advancements that we can use in farming. So that benefits everybody, and that benefits the entire program as itself by developing employment. Because remember, all of the stuff that we can grow and the products that we can create, ketchup, pasta sauce, pasta, bread, cereal, and the list just goes on and on and on. Pies, cakes, all of the stuff that we normally buy out of the store, we can produce ourselves in our community farming project, and we'll utilize those things that we grow and turn them into products that we can all, enjoy and share and get healthy on. And this organic eating will help to improve the overall metabolism of us. So we'll start leaning out, and we'll start burning off a lot of that excess sugar fat, and we'll start developing, that more healthy, lean, strong, resilient muscle that'll be strong and keep you young and healthy for a long time and serve you well, instead of this, what we dealing with now. Because I'm a big brother. I've been fighting the fat for years, and, realized that it was always the high fructose corn syrup that was fattening me up, and it was hard to get it out of my diet because it's in so many products that we buy out of our local grocery stores. And it only turns out that, they put the stuff in just about everything, and the stuff with all of the high fructose corn syrup in it, which is pretty much death in a product, is usually the stuff that we can afford. And they specifically, strategically make sure that's cheap stuff go to the poor neighborhoods. The good stuff goes to the middle class neighborhoods, and the rich folks, they just, manufacture and grow their own. So we need to take a page out of their book and stop buying this cheap stuff and get the purely organic stuff, or, sponsor a garden. And let's say you help sponsor a garden, which would require to say you purchase the seeds and the soil that's necessary, the potting soil and stuff like that, and this, that, and the other. and you give it to somebody, and they'll take it, and they'll take the seeds in the soil, and they'll start the garden, they'll grow it, they'll tend to it, and they'll make sure everything grows right and prosperous and great. And then in return, you get a percentage of all of the produce that is produced. Now, just to give you an idea of what can be produced, you can get 2,000 pounds of fruits and vegetables off a half an acre. And that's literally basically somebody's backyard. So just to give you an idea, a ton of food can be produced. So that was, what I wanted to touch on the second half of the core principle number 1. And we'll probably get more into this later on in future episodes, and we'll be bringing in some farmers and organic gardeners and permaculturists to interview later on a future episode. So I just want to say once again to you, thank you for listening and taking the time out to hear me out. And please, comments, contact me if you want to be a guest on the show. Just let me know at zeroutnetwork@gmail.com. And if you got criticism or any ways you can improve the program, please hit us up, zeroutnetwork@gmail.com. Once again, I'm your host, Zoltan Joyce. You can call me Zo, but until then, love, peace, and hair grease, and good living.